All right, now the South African National Defence Force is working with the police to patrol highways. Police Minister Bheki says they have identified high-risk routes. He was briefing the media earlier today. eNCA's Heidi Giokos was at that briefing and she joins us now live. Heidi, of course, the minister also welcoming the deployment of SANDF.
Yes, certainly, Maseko, and this is quite serious given the fact that we do know 21 trucks have been torched and attacked since the early hours of Sunday morning. According to the police minister, though, they do believe they have the situation under control. We understand about 12 people have been identified. We tried to probe the minister on what exactly it means by 12 people have been identified. Are they going to be arrested? How have they been identified? Are these the individuals we have been seeing in a number of videos that have been circulating from that CCTV footage that is in some of the trucks that have been torched? But the minister didn't want to go into too much detail, basically saying that he doesn't want to give too much information away because those that have been identified could be watching and could know that the police are onto them. But he says he knows some of those that have been identified. It can even go as far as knowing where they stay, vehicles being identified and so forth. But the police minister is saying that they definitely do have a hand on this situation and they have no evidence at this point to suggest that there could be any repeat of the July unrest that we saw in 2021. The minister being very stern on that, Maseko, and almost every journalist in the room was saying, but there is panic given that the July unrest in 2021 started in almost a similar way where you had trucks starting to be torched. But it seems as though the minister is saying this could be economic sabotage. And because we cannot have any repeats of economic destruction that we've seen in the last couple of years, the minister is saying that the SANDF have been deployed. I do know that my colleague Sipamandla Goge has actually indicated and shown how the SANDF are at the Moy Plaza, and this is obviously strategic and key routes, especially in KwaZulu-Natal, given that the torching of these trucks started there. Let's listen to the police minister on that.
We might as well add that we're very thankful to Defence that already in KZN they are working with us, especially on those strategic areas like Moy River Plaza. Yes, all major routes have been secured and regular patrols are being conducted along identified high-risk routes, as I've made the point about Moy River and other high-risk areas.
And Heidi, just elaborate further for us. I mean, the minister at some point with one of the journalists asking a question and saying intelligence-wise nothing has been done, and he gave statistics from 2018, 67 arrests, etc.
Yes, so I think the big question was, given that the July unrest happened 2021, so 2 years ago, as much as we have seen 67 arrests linked to the July unrest, the big question is, who was the mastermind behind what was actually going on? Is there a mastermind? How many were actually behind all of this? The arrests that we have been seeing in the court cases that we have been attending, even at eNCA, it's a lot to do with the looters, not the masterminds behind all of this. The country was brought to its knees, and we obviously don't want a repeat of that. But the minister being very clear that a lot of work is being done to really bring an end and a conclusion to what actually happened in July of 2021. In terms of what is happening now, as I mentioned, Masako, he doesn't believe that there's anything untowards when it comes to the July unrest or that it's a repeat of that. He's saying mostly it's got to do with economic sabotage. And there were reports that intelligence had been notified that there could be a possibility of attacks on trucks already last week sometime. And we do know that the National Police Commissioner, Fani Masemola, was saying that, yes, they did get an indication, but it wasn't anything that they could actually work with. And now you have a situation where you have 21 trucks that have been torched torched and attacked. But again, the minister saying they do believe that they have the situation under control. I think time will tell in the next couple of hours, 24 to 48 hours, what's going to happen, and any more further trucks are going to be looted and attacked like this. What's interesting is that we kept asking the minister, who do you think is behind this? What do you think is behind this? If it's economic sabotage, what were these trucks carrying? So what was the cargo that they were carrying? We do know that a number of them had coal. One of them had apples and bananas, so fruits. But majority of them had coal. And the minister obviously not dismissing the fact that there could be a possibility of the issue of illegal or undocumented persons driving these trucks, and there might be an issue between locals and the illegal drivers that seem to be at war with each other.
And Heidi, just lastly, I wonder how much of that, or if the question was brought up, I mean, if you're talking coal, that also brings us to our power crisis here in South Africa, and looking at the fact that they're attacking mostly in Mpumalanga, where most of our power stations are, you know, that also could probably be something that is linked to, besides the weather, of course, that is linked to why we're seeing ourselves at escalated load shedding schedules now?
Yes, I think that's definitely something we have to follow up on. We do know that the Provincial Police Commissioner in Mpumalanga did indicate, if I'm not mistaken, Masego, I think it's either 3 or 4 out of the 9 trucks in Mpumalanga were actually carrying coal that were attacked like this. So it is a concern, and we'll definitely have to follow up on whether or not that has any impact on what's currently happening with our load shedding schedule. What's also interesting, though, is that we also know that, if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember the exact number, but if it's either 2 or 3 trucks in KwaZulu-Natal that were also carrying coal. So there might be something more to this, but we'll obviously just have to figure that out. But that's why the police minister is saying it might be economic sabotage that is behind all of this.
And we all know our power crisis is also something that actually, you know, results in dire situations here in South Africa economically. But of course, for now, Eskom is saying, Heidi, that it's due to high demand. Heidi Giokos, live for us in Pretoria. Thank you. Let's leave it there for now.